What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of TeamB Wrestling, where we do the WWE Raw review and your news for the week. And Monday Night Raw started off with a bang. You had Undertaker and Shane McMahon come to the ring. Taker was cutting a little promo, and Shane came out and told Undertaker that his legacy died at WrestleMania 2 years ago. And the crowd talking about the streak, and the crowd went, "Ooh." Taker said, "Well, you're just your daddy's bitch." In which that don't make no sense because Shane ain't been there. He done his own thing, independently. And then they started throwing hands, and it was funny because he got the upper hand on Taker, laid him on the announce table, and then Undertaker laid there a long time, man. I had to really suspend my disbelief. And Shane finally made it to the top rope. He was going to do a diving elbow. And Shane's leg was twitching real bad as he was climbing up the turnbuckle. I don't know if you guys noticed that. I was like, man, he's about to lose his balance there. And he's about to have a main event match with Taker. He can't keep his balance. And he jumped off the top turnbuckle and gave a diving elbow, and he missed the elbow. I swear it looked like it. I'm like, man, that was risky. And they got a match coming up this weekend. But overall, I mean, I thought it was a good segment and everything. And Undertaker looked like he's about 3 days old. Really looked tired in the face and just worn out, man. Wow. Oh. What do you think, Bill?
Yeah, man, it was. I thought it was a decent opening segment. I mean, you're trying to push. Well, I mean, you're trying to really milk what you can left out of it, since that is going home Raw. And and like I said, I mean, but the thing is it's getting you to where Vince is the Undertaker. You can tell the Undertaker ain't comfortable being in the position because while it is a match, because you can take what he said, what Undertaker was saying, he was like telling Shane that he was just like his old man, and then that's why he said he was Daisy. He says, yeah, you're just like your old man, and says that since the day you were born, you been your daddy's bitch. Well, then it's funny because Shane told the Undertaker that a couple of Raws ago that he was Vince's bitch. So you see, it's just the whole storyline is kind of not, you can't really, the substance is really bad. It's like wanting to make a cake, but you're not putting all the ingredients in right, or not enough of it in. And usually when that happens, it's like what they call a recipe for disaster. So yeah, I did agree that it began good, and I did like to see Shane trying to fight him off, and trying to jab the Undertaker, which is funny watching him trying to fight because he looks like a T-Rex trying to fight. It looks like his arms are only 2 feet long. I mean, he's doing this right here. I mean, which doesn't look real to me. And but I thought it was a good segment. No, and it was close. But if you watch real slow mo when Shane goes up, for one thing, I would say this to me. After that little bit of tussling going on between the two of them, when Shane was going up on the rope, you notice he was going very slowly, and it looked like he was very winded. And what made me feel like,
yeah, and he like about to lose his balance, man. His fucking leg
felt like
real bad.
Is he tired already? I mean, you can't go with that burst of energy because Shane doesn't have that stamina to carry on. And when you wrestle like that, and you're supposed to have and a decent amount of time for a match, you're supposed to at least have the stamina to carry on to a match and pace it. If you go and throw all you got at it in a 3 or 4 minute burst, that'll tire you out. And I saw Shane, he was slowly going up the ring, and I was looking at his face. I'm like, he looks winded. He looks tired because you can see him breathing, going, when he was trying to go up there and going up there very slowly. And you could see he hadn't been climbing up and going up high like Bullet B said. You can't see. You can look and tell that he hadn't been climbing up down like he used to.
It took him too long.
He was climbing real slow, like taking it easy, But yeah, man, and it was cool. But that was a cool moment. But I'm kind of in the belief that they shouldn't have done that because I felt like that should have been something saved for the pay-per-view. I believe if it would, I know they're trying to sell it and trying to say, wow, he's willing to jump at great lengths to go on top of one of those, oh my God, or holy shit moments that happens. Right. But you should have saved that for the pay-per-view, and any bumps. Sorry about that. Any bumps that come through basically would have been saved, I thought, for the pay-per-view. But it was a decent thing to a decent beginning to Raw. So, I kind of understand what they're doing. I just think that, you shouldn't do moments like that except for the pay-per-view, because then you're going to be like, what's he going to do next to top? What's he going to do next to top that? Then you're like, is he going to climb to the top? Is he going to jump off the very top? And I was listening to shout out Don Tony Kevin Castle show, and they were in agreement to the same thing. And I Matching Bullets, same agreement is, what you're going to do to jump from the very top that, because you've already done something that should have waited. So while it was a decent beginning to the show, I thought it was all right that they did that. But to me, that was kind of a thing. Even if you were going to do it at the end of the night rather than the very beginning, because then you're going to people are like, holy shit, when they see that, then they're like, well, I wonder how the rest of the night's going to be after that. So that's what I feel about the opening segment.
Yeah, I agree with that, because the philosophy is don't have the main eventers touch each other until the actual pay-per-view. But I can see why they did it, man. They're just trying to get people into it, and I didn't think it exposed too much. It got people excited at least. But I'm so jealous, man. Shane McMahon's like 47 years old. He got in the best shape ever these past 4 weeks. His neck is bigger than his head. He's got a 6-pack going on. I'm like, man, I wish I could get in shape like that quick. So he's kind of motivating me like Rocky, man. I was like, damn, I wish I could get a body like that.
Oh, yeah.
Get all the pussy he wants, man.
Well,
yeah. Your camera's breaking up a little bit.
Really?
Seems like, yeah. I don't know if it's just from my perspective or if it will record like that, but it's all good.
I don't know. Mine seems I don't know. Let's see. Seems like it's going pretty good for real time with me. Yeah, seems like it's going real time with me. I don't know, because I can never tell because mine's putting on different than yours, so it's kind of tough to tell. But it seems like from mine, I'm not freezing up, or I don't see any slowness in it. So I don't know.
It's just showing your image now.
Well, really?
Yeah, I was thinking it might be my internet slowing down, but it's been doing pretty good. So
I don't know.
as long as I can.
I don't know.
Yeah. Google must be having a lot of traffic. Say what?
That's it. You want me to leave and come back?
Well, if you want to.
All right. Well, I'll just get right back. I'll right back in. Maybe that'll help.
Yeah, just click that link. Come right back in.
Yeah. All right, man. I'll be right back. Just carry on, sir. I'll be right back.
All right, Kev. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen. So, Triple H and Roman Reigns feud continued on, and funny thing was they're keeping Roman Reigns behind the scenes, kind of like in the background. So that, he was Reigns was being interviewed backstage, and the Dudley Boys walked up to him and prompted him. Like, come on, Roman Reigns, you wild Samoan, you ain't nothing. They were picking him for a fight, and so Roman Reigns jumped on Bubba Ray, punched him in the face, and Devon started attacking him. And here comes Triple H, and all three of them were kicking the shit out of Roman Reigns backstage. And the odd thing was the fans were cheering Triple H, like, yeah, beat his brains out. And I just love that segment, man. And he just slammed Roman Reigns' head on his title belt. I was like, ooh, that's how you do it, like, taste my belt, bitch, and the crowd was going crazy. And I thought that was a good segment. It got me interested in the match more, because I know the fans are going to be behind Triple H, man. It's just so funny to see. And Roman Reigns doing the best he can, And then later in the show, we had two authority segments, promos. And at one point, Triple H was bragging and whatnot, and like I said, Reigns got beat up backstage. So Roman Reigns made his entrance to the ring to get his revenge on Triple H, and they had a little back and forth, and Triple H ran backstage or whatever, and they had some more wrestlers out there, and Roman Reigns did a diving leap over the top rope onto the guys outside the ring, Dudley Boys and whatnot, and the crowd went, "Boo! You still suck!" And I just felt so sorry for Roman, man. He's trying the best he could. I'm surprised he didn't fuck up, man. He don't let them critters get in his head, I guess. But so that was pretty funny to see. And but yeah, Bill, your quality's pretty good now. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Come on, Roman, you wild Samoan. Come on. You can't hit me. You can't do nothing. That's such a setup. That was funny. Remind me of middle school, man. Come on, Bullet B. You ain't nothing, man. You can't fuck with us. 3-on-1, That's what it took me back to. Bully Ray being a true bully, man, for the Raw episode, because they do an anti-bullying campaign. WWE does. So Bubba Ray's like, yeah, I'm being a true middle school bully. Come on, Roman Reigns, hit me. You wild Samoan, you ain't nothing. You ain't nothing. Wow. Which reminds me, you want to talk about the anti-warrior award?
Well, yeah, it's
what's her name? Joanne London.
Dana Warrior established it after the Ultimate Warrior died, and it was kind of established that he wanted to give out before those. And WWE's kind of take on it is that it's kind of moved into those that have been fighters and overcome a very intense and very hard circumstances in life, like dealing with first Connor got it last year and whatnot, which everybody agreed with that, because everybody kind of fell for Connor, he had, whatnot, and he passed away not too long after that. But this year they gave it to Joan London. She used to be on, I think it was Good Morning America, I believe it was. She hosted for so many years, but now she was on there last year to talk about these Susan B. Komen breast cancer awareness thing, and she's been, since she had that, and she is big into that. She has basically been fighting for that and for research and for money and to raise awareness for it. So the WWE, and I guess since they have this close partnership, which I think is kind of it's too convenient that with her last year going to Raw and talking about it and then giving her the award this year, it's kind of convenient that she got it. I'm not saying she shouldn't deserve it, because she has done a lot of work for that.
Well, see,
and,
I think it's just,
I've had so many people, and my family passed away from cancer. I can kind of understand them wanting to do that, but she is supposed to do it this year.
I think it's just hype for the Susan G. Komen breast awareness campaign that they always promote. I think it's just, I think they just tied it in with that, to make themselves look good for the Susan G. Komen program. But, overall, I mean, she deserves it. She's a nice person, but, like Stephanie said, philanthropy is the future of marketing, So you don't know. I think they're doing it for business reasons and maybe for good reasons too. But overall, yeah, she's a warrior for fighting through it and everything. But you remember in Warrior's speech, man, he wanted to go to people that work backstage, that did the creative writing, or maybe a referee, you every day, man, and don't get no credit. But I can see why they did this, and I don't have a problem with it. But like Stephanie said, philanthropy is the future of marketing, So
Right.
that's why I'm just kind of like skeptical when I see stuff like that. But like I said, I mean, she had cancer for real, so I can't. I'm glad she deserves it. I would say.
Exactly. So I get that. It's like you said. I agree.
I just twisted what Warrior said, and maybe if Dana Warrior's okay with it, I mean that's fine.
Well,
I mean, at least it keep. Yeah.
And I understand what Don Tony was trying to say is keep the award to what he was saying he wanted to be. I know, even though he said Dana Warrior may be on board with it, and it kind of morphed into another. It's like, I agree with him, Don Tony. I'm like they should. There's a lot of people behind the wrestling scenes that don't get that notice and don't get that recognition and stuff, and they should have an award. I agree with him. I said I can see what he's saying as compared to what some other people are saying. But I just feel like that that they should do that. They should have somebody on there that is basically going to that has done so much behind him. Like you said, Bill Abner. He's mentioned Bill Abner over and over. He should be able, to get that shot as well. So we'll see how that goes, and next year, and see which way they decide to go with it. But it's just difficult to say exactly, what they're going to do with it and whatnot. But I just feel like they should be able to, it should go to people like that, which I do. Like you said, I agree. John London has done a lot and whatnot, but and I'll tell it too is they've already do this, so they already have their part of the year for the Susan B. Anthony and breast cancer awareness, because the whole rings is pink, and you have everybody basically wearing pink stuff, and that's their time for that. You don't need to cross it into something else
they never talk
when
about
you have that time for it.
Well, during that time, they never talk about men that have cancer and other forms of cancer. It's just Susan G. Komen Breast Cancer Awareness Month when they do that.
Because WWE,
they leave out everything else, but but it's a good thing regardless.
Well, because they're tied in. They're tied in some way with WWE. That's why they're tied in somehow. Whether it's a partnership, that's why you see that particular organization. But I have heard, dude, that I have heard that with them discussing what these certain foundations and stuff are. Really, you don't, when you go like to Susan B. Anthony, G. Anthony or B. Anthony, whichever one it was, it's basically a lot of times it's a money scam, and it's not the people that really need the money for that don't get that the money it goes to, like the Ronald McDonald House, and you see all these other places that do these charity things that not everybody.
I heard from somewhere, it might have been CM Punk's Twitter, where he said Susan G. Komen Awareness Month, the money they get, they don't even put it in cancer research. They put it in their program for other things. But that's what I heard. I don't know if that's true or not, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was. It's just propaganda, things like that. Philanthropy, feeding off people's, emotions, makes them sad, and then they want to donate money, type of thing. But it's a thing that people do need to be aware of. Yeah, you can't really say nothing bad about it at the same time. But anyway, let's moving on to what we were talking about, booze earlier. Eva Marie came back, man, to a shitload of booze, and because they got a Divas match they're hyping up, and
of course.
I'm starting to agree with, I didn't care about Eva Marie at first. I didn't think she was all that, but now when I see her, I'm like, woo! Maybe I'm just horny or something. I was like, man, that's a beautiful.
She's beautiful, man. She's a fire.
Yeah, now I'm on board with her. I just didn't like her. I didn't like her at first because I watched Total Divas the first season or second season. I didn't like her personality that much, but she grew on me a little bit. I like her now. She's smoking hot, man. I just hate that she's married and all that stuff now, or engaged or whatever it was. But yeah, still nice to look at.
Yeah, she's beautiful, man. I mean, she's gorgeous. As far as model wise, she's a beautiful woman. It's just she's not very talented as far as wrestling. But which we did hear him say that she had been training more, she had been surprising more. So maybe we'll be able to.
That's what it was. Yeah, I didn't like her at first because she didn't really grow up a wrestling fan. She just got into it to have like a job that gave her exposure or whatever. But I think she's became a fan over the past couple of years. And like you said, she's been training with what's his name? But to get some get better in the ring. And I say, just give her a second chance. And she looked really good last night. And I guess because I've been looking at Lana so much that when you see Eve Marie come out there, you're like, woo, that's that exotic female that you always like. Jessica Rabbit. I was like, man, she is so beautiful. Because Lana just looks like a 1980s Pamela Anderson ripoff, knockoff type. Baywatch clone.
Yeah,
something.
I get that. But
It's kind of like when you buy Fruit Loops and they don't have Fruit Loops and you get the Fruit Rings instead, the knockoff brand. That's Lana. That's Lana the Baywatch in the '80s or something. You know, that's just what she reminds me of. And you see Eva Marie, you're like, oh yeah, that's kind of a little smooth thing I want right there. You know, but yeah, I'm not. And Lana's gorgeous too. I'm just saying, just nitpicking. You know, nitpicking Eva Marie all the way. Yeah, I'll pick Becky Lynch over Lana, but that's just me, man. Because Lana's just not. I just like a cute girl, I guess. If I was nitpicking, Lana just kind of rough around the edges to me, and just she's beautiful in her own right. Of course, I never have a lady like that, but you know, she just kind of rough around the edges, and she just legs, you know. Eva Marie's got a adorable face, man. And she's hot too, and it just turned you on because she would tweet and Facebook behind your back, man. It just makes you want to just be forceful on her or something. You know, she turned you on, man. She's a bad girl. That's what it is. She's a bad girl. You know. Billy be like, I want me a nice woman. Shoot, like, yeah, why you fucking need Marie then? You're like, because I like my bad girl. That's why.
She's hot and all, man. It's just, it's just, she's not very, it's the talent level, man, that really gets to me, dude. I mean, and somebody today have tried to push, it's like WWE just ain't gonna really, they're not really going to stop pushing her. They see this, and see, that's amazing to me because you look at what happened to Roman Reigns, it's the same way. They're basically, they're determined they're going to keep doing it no matter what nobody said.
All they got to do is turn Eva Marie heel if it don't work out.
They don't have to. She's already booed as it is. She ain't got to turn heel.
Well, it doesn't make no sense for her to be a baby face and nobody likes her.
Well,
not even the other divas didn't even like her. You know.
Well, look at Roman Reigns.
Oh, I know, and they need to turn him heel as well. But I'm just saying, if it don't work, that's when you need to flip them. But maybe WWE will be more open-minded with somebody like a diva as opposed to their top main eventer, supposedly. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I was just so impressed because that was the first time I seen Eva Marie come to the ring and do a spot and not botch it. I was like, wow, she didn't even botch it. So that's why I'm just blown away by it. I was like, man, she's improved so much. She was able to run inside the ring. Then she was able to crawl under the ropes as she ran, and she did a couple of moves. I was like, she didn't fuck up. And I was like, wow. I said, she's on point for once. Wow. Yeah. Mm-hmm. She wasn't being earnest. She didn't have no earnest moments last night. No earnest moments last night. But yeah, put her a Roman Reigns, dude. Get that massive heat, negative heat. Put a Roman Reigns, man. That's all they got to do. Or have Roman Reigns spear Eva Marie, and then people get behind Roman Reigns for once. Feel spear Eva Marie.
Oh yeah, that's true, man. It's just to me, it's just amazing that no matter how hard they try, but it's really the crowd. It's all about the. I don't even think it's the crowd. I think if she was doing the moves, they wouldn't be so bad. But she is botched so badly that nobody really. You just hate to see a product. You see something stinking in the ring, you're gonna go, ugh, shit. When you're gonna call it, and that's just what it is. It's like she's going in the ring and taking a dump, and everybody's telling how bad it is. That's why, I mean, that's just how it is to me, Right. And I just feel like they need to go ahead and just stop with it. I mean, you ain't got to turn her heel. She's already getting the heat now. So, like Roman Reigns, like they said, they ought to make them a power couple and just turn them heel. I mean, that's your ultimate heel right there, is have the woman they don't like with the guy they don't like, and make them a faction together. That's you don't get no more heat than that. I mean, that's Vicky Guerrero kind of heat when you do that.
That's exactly what she's got, the Vicky Guerrero heat. I'm just saying it makes more sense to turn her heel, but give her a couple more weeks and see what happens. I mean, you just can't promote her like a baby face and nobody likes her.
And that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. Same way.
I know, but just give her a couple of weeks because, this was her first time. I didn't see nothing wrong with her last night, but I'll quickly turn on her if I'm not pleased with it.
Yeah.
I'll be like Kevin Castle. I won't take up for my Reigns, but I'll take up for Eva Marie, you know, because I got a little bit more taste than he does. Ha ha ha.
It is horrible.
I know she's horrible. She sucks. But I mean, she's been training with I can't think of his fucking name. I want to say Brian Christopher, but it ain't Jerry Lawler's.
Brian Kendrick.
Brian Kendrick. Yeah, if she's been training with him, she's got to be okay, you know. Which, by the way, Brie Bella is going to go ahead and retire sooner rather than later, because she was supposed to retire like summertime or whatever, but something's going on with Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan was booked for some house shows appearances, and he had to drop out of that, and Brie Bella's going to go ahead and retire so she could be with her husband. And I agree with Don Tony and them about, you know, maybe he's going through a real bad depression right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be that, you know, because he can't do what he loves to do, and he don't want to be a trainer. He don't want to make appearances. He wants to be in the ring, and he's probably just going through a real bad depression. And like they were saying, he's only like 35, and he's not 60. He's 35. And
yeah,
what else can he do to make income? You know,
exactly
that's what he's worried about. Well, if WWE would take care of him, I wouldn't worry about it too much. But I can understand having that passion and drive to do what you love to do, and then it be taken away from you. You know, it's like that movie Friday Night Lights, the actual movie, the football movie where that black kid, no, I'm not racist, when he bummed his leg, he got his leg broke or something. He said, "I just want to play. That's all I want to do." And the doctor said, "Well, you fuck, man. You can't play." And it just broke his heart, man. And that's what Daniel Bryan's going through, some Friday Night Lights syndrome right there. You know, I get that, but he's got a trophy wife and everything, and maybe he should be more positive and optimistic. But I get that. I mean, that's all you've been doing your whole life. A trophy wife can't help but so much. But he'll get things sorted out in his head eventually with it. If it is a depression, I don't know what else it could be.
Yeah, it's and that's the sad thing about it. But I mean, what can you do?
You so have in your head.
So I just hope the best, man. I really do.
Yep.
So, but yeah, man. I tell you, man.
I'm still eating, man. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. When I want to talk about the Zack Ryder and Jericho, you talk about the Zack Ryder and Jericho match. When I came back, you were talking about Roman Reigns, and I kind of lost track of where you were at.
No, I ain't talking about that.
Well, I'll catch up.
What I'm talking about was Reigns, but look, I'm also happy to see Zack Ryder actually watched his backstage interview from WWE.com on their YouTube channel, and I think it was JoJo. She's like, "Everybody's calling you a loser and you can't win." He's like, "Well, I won tonight. I pinned a man that I used to support back in 9th grade, and I pinned him tonight, whatever." But like, woo, woo, woo. So I was happy he got him a little win there, but that was just to hype up the ladder match, give him some credentials for the ladder match. And hey, all power to him. Maybe some more guys will get injured, so he'll get a place on Raw finally. He looked different though with his beard and everything. Yeah.
Well, then next up we have a match with Becky Lynch and Charlotte, and Sasha Banks is basically sitting ringside, and it was a good match, which they both can put on a good match. They've been focusing a lot on Becky Lynch a lot lately. They see, I guess, a good upside to her. She's been getting a lot of notice a lot lately. The only thing that I see a problem with Becky Lynch is that Irish accent is so thick that nobody really can understand that. And when she talks, it sounds with that thick Irish accent to where her words running together. She's trying to pronounce them, but that accent is so thick with that Irishness. The Irish accent is so thick that she really doesn't need to really do as many promos or just slow down.
Yeah, she's terrible, man. She's a terrible promo cutter.
Person. She's real energetic, and when she talks fast and doesn't slow down. And then when she's talking, people can't understand what she's saying. And
we're not friends. We're not frenemies. You're my opponent.
He sounds deep with my opponent. And to me, that's terrible. But they had a good match. You're my opponent. A lot of back and forth. But of course, Charlotte, being the champion that she is, is going to try to come back. But then Becky Lynch would come back with it, and it kept going back and forth, and then Sasha goes up there, and after Charlotte kicks her on the outside, Charlotte does, and Sasha Banks is jumping back and forth with her while she's there, and then Becky Lynch gets out, and then she runs Charlotte around the ring, and then when time she slides in, Ric Flair grabs her leg, and then she tries to kick Flair off. She gets a big boot from Charlotte, and then she ends up getting the natural selection put on her, and Charlotte ends up picking up the win. So we see yet again Charlotte being the heel. We see Becky Lynch being shorted of it because of interference from Ric Flair and whatnot. But it was decent. Like I said, if Becky was
Hugh Hefner. I saw that. Hugh Hefner was at ringside, and he was trying to distract Becky Lynch. Oh, Hugh, I saw that.
Yeah, he is, man. They cut some good promos with Ric Flair, and I feel bad because, but I mean, like I said, it was just funny what they did. Next up, we see that my girl Renee Young, is interviewing Vince McMahon backstage, and she's telling him, and she was asking him about what he had seen earlier night. He said he wasn't surprised at Shane. He said that Shane will do what he can and take it to the Undertaker on Sunday, but it said that the Undertaker said that Hell in a Cell Mania were his house and his yard, and he said that the Shane doesn't want stuff like that. Undertaker takes it very seriously, and it says that he wants the whole universe, and he said that he was happy that he was representing an angry Undertaker. So Vince is pretty confident that this is what happens, And then Shane all of a sudden interrupts him and said that he's going to take 40 years of pent up aggression, and he was going to let it all loose on Sunday. So he said that Vince stole the company from his father, and he said Sunday he's taking it from Vince. So he's trying to compare that family, which I understand that it makes it more intense when it's family and family. So I could kind of understand where they were coming out with that, and that was funny. That they did that. But I like the family intensity. I just wish they had done this 2 months ago and started the feud rather than just this last month.
Last minute shit, yeah. I can't stand that, ladies and gentlemen, because the WrestleMania advertisements are released a month ahead of time before the event actually happens. And I hate when they book matches at the last minute like that. Because the advertisements and whatnot, like on YouTube, when you watch the WrestleMania advertisement, that shit was made like 3 weeks ago. And then you watch and you're like, man, there's been so many matches added since then. But by the way, when Triple H and Stephanie were cutting their one of 2 promos last night, Triple H did say that his match with Roman Reigns will be the main event, the last match going on. I'm like, okay, so the future of the company is less important than the title this time around. Okay, the future of the company is less important. But hey, I'm a fan of the title going on last, don't get me wrong. But I just thought in this case, it should have ended with Shane and The Undertaker. It just made more sense because the future of the company's on the line. So like Aaron Riff said, I guess it depends on – well, he said the main event depended on who was going to win, because they want to end on a happy note. But Triple H said on Raw that, his match with Reigns is going to be the actual main event. So that puts Taker and Shane down a notch there. But yeah. I'm happy with – I can't complain about a title match going on last. I can't complain about that. It makes you wonder, though. Is that for storyline? They're going to have some kind of swerve there? But we'll say that for the WrestleMania prediction show. That we're going to do. I totally agree with you about Shane and Vince and Taker. That promo backstage between father and son, that was pretty good, and it makes you buy into it more. It takes me back to WrestleMania 2000 when you had a McMahon in every corner.
Right.
and then WrestleMania 17 where they had Shane versus Vince, and for just for the hell of it, and Linda McMahon was out there comatose, and they had Trish out there. It takes me back to that storyline in a lot of ways. It's kind of like I don't look at it as a repeat. I just look at it as a sequel to like the 2001 WrestleMania or something. I don't know, but people are into it, and people are happy to see Shane and Taker, man. He's doing what he does, And
oh, yeah.
looking 3 days expired, but
yeah, it's pretty cool to see that. I'm glad that they're building up. I just wish they'd have given more fans more time to buy into it than a month ahead. That's
right.
That's like them going in the day of the pay-per-view and having a new storyline out of nowhere that nobody's even expecting because they're not investing enough in. That's why I said it feels like it's been rushed and thrown together because not everybody's here. But that's the way sometimes it goes. When you got
I'm not a fan of that. And it goes to them advertisements. I'm like, people see these advertisements like on DirecTV. They used to for a pay-per-view, and they already giving them an advertisement a month ahead of time, and they only have half the matches on there yet, or something can change. And that always annoyed me when they done stuff like that. I can't stand when they throw something extra last minute, especially for WrestleMania. I want all this stuff booked a month ahead of time, and then you do the storylines.
Right. Well, they did say too, as a tidbit side note on that, they did say that Luke Harper did have his surgery on his leg. It might have been his ACL or something, but they're saying that, and I gave it a little tidbit last week on last week's show, but on this week's show, I want to give it a little update and say that he did have the surgery.
Go ahead. I'll be right back. You go ahead.
Right.
Go ahead.
He had surgery today, and it was successful, and they're looking for him to be out 5 to 6 months. So we do wish him a proper welcome back. And to a tidbit I know of, little TNA, which don't want to cross over into WWE Raw review, but they were saying that some rumors could be that since Eric Young is no longer working with TNA, that he could possibly be another relative of the Wyatt family extensions, because you have it's back down to Eric Rowan and Braun Strowman, and now you need another guy. Eric Young could possibly be that missing Wyatt that be like the short one, because every one of them doesn't need to be tall. Every one of them don't need to be tall, and you already got 3 tall ones and Bray, so it could be something they could possibly look into. So look for the future for possibly something with Eric Young and the Wyatt family possibly coming into fruition. So look to that. But up next we see the Social Outcast on the ring apron, and Axel kind of slips in a happy birthday, Dad, wishing his dad the WWE Mr. Perfect. His dad that was a wonderful athlete and wrestler back in the 80s and 90s for WWE. So he was wishing him a happy birthday right before Slater introduced the Outcast. And they're out there immediately. They're immediately interrupting the Big Show, which they did that last week. And the Big Show's tagging with Kane, who just last week, if you remember, just out of nowhere, he choked the Big Show, choke slammed him off the top rope. Now they're tagging with each other. So we see them tagging this week, and then all of a sudden we see that it just going back and forth, and then all of a sudden all the Outcasts jump on them 4-on-2. So we see now that that's going on. Then all of a sudden, Damian Sandow's out there, R-Truth, Jack Swagger, The Ascension, Tyler Breeze, Goldust, Darren Young, Mark Henry, all of them come out to brawl. After that, and it says at the end, finally, Show and Kane end up slamming Mark Henry and do a double choke slam on 2 members of the Outcast. So why they do this? Last week they choke slammed him is kind of odd, and why this week they're working together in this match. But who knows what WWE is? They're here and there from time. They're left one day, right the next. So we don't know. And the one thing about that's consistent with WWE is they're inconsistent. So we see what they're going through. But that was what basically happened at that point, is that they both ended up doing that to the 2 members of the Social Outcast. So that's basically where we're at. So, and I know that Bully B had talked about the Roman Reigns segment, so really weren't no use in me.
I feel so bad for Joe Henning, Curtis Axel. He he did an interview on WWE.com last night, Raw Fallout, and he was talking about how every year, he feels like something's been taken from him. He wants to be good like his dad, and he said this year he's going to have his WrestleMania moment and tribute it to his dad. And I thought that was great. Man, he cut a better promo than Roman Reigns ever could in 5 minutes on the YouTube Fan Nation channel. You know.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good to know.
It makes me sad, man, because he's so talented, and they just threw him in that social outcast stuff. And I always, I like Joe Henning because of Mr. Perfect, of course, but it's just sad to see, man. He cut a better interview, promo, whatever, in 5 minutes on WWE.com/YouTube Fan Nation than Roman Reigns ever could. It's like a babyface promo. This year is going to be my year, and I'm going to dedicate it to my dad. I said, there you go.
Exactly.
I was reading the comments, and everybody said, this is the Curtis Axel we want to see. That's the one.
Show it.
Right, exactly. Like Dolph Ziggler used to cut these awesome promos backstage on WWE.com, and nobody sees it.
Yeah, he did one good week against Triple H and Stephanie the other week. But then where do you see him at this week? Right back down. They're not consistent with anything. That's what disappoints me about them. I want to see WWE do good. I mean, I'm a WC guy through, but I don't want to see what happened to WWE with these ratings and stuff, man. But it's just their product is getting horrible, and it's very like WCW being very inconsistent with what they're doing. It's like this with the Undertaker and Kane. They're together one week, they choke slam the next week, they're together the next week. Undertaker, Big Show's crying. You just have all this going on, but it's like, and this fact would like the Roman Reigns segment, which you touched on that earlier, and like I said, ain't no reason to go back into it, but it's just that he's a bad guy. They need to turn the man heel and let him be heel, where he can go ahead and enjoy the reign. It's a lot better when you're playing heel. The fact is, I don't know if you mentioned this while I was trying to get back in, but he did an interview stating this week, and it caught a lot of people off guard with the interview that he gave them about how WWE was a family product that he didn't care if the male fans booed him or grown adults. He said it should be on the adults for them to be able to go out and for them to be able to monitor what they're doing, because it's simply.
Yeah, but that's bullshit, because a lot of adults still watch WWE.
Well, see,
that's who's paying for the network and whatnot. But that was just a PR interview, public relations interview. He's just saying what they told him to say. But,
yeah, he says here he's
half the audience is still adults, and people just don't like them.
He says here, I think there's different reasons why. When they were talking about him getting such strong negative reviews, he said you can name a bunch of them. I don't think we can put a finger on one and say there's a reason why. Typically, you hear the boos is generally grown men my age, and I'm not really in this business for the grown men. I'm in this business for the families. That's what we are. We're a PG product. We're a family-based product. We're here to entertain families.
Yeah. At the same time, you got Undertaker saying bitch, and they cutting Attitude Era promos. And that's just for leading into WrestleMania, by the way. The Attitude Era is not coming back, ladies and gentlemen, which I know you know this, Bill, but they're just making it a little more edgy as they go into WrestleMania. The Attitude Era is not coming back. As soon as WrestleMania is over, we're going to go right back to tater tots. Well, I hope not. I hope it ain't that bad. But, they did the same shit with The Rock and Cena a few years ago. They were had some really intense promos. And right after that, I think Brock Lesnar came back, and they had an edgy feud there. Then it was right back to tater tots. It's just for the WrestleMania season. So the Attitude Era is just back part-time. It's just through WrestleMania season. And Roman Reigns can blame people past puberty all he wants to, but the people is just not feeling him. He's got to blame somebody. That's just a PR comment. Well, we're just a friendly company. It's just for the kids. And
yeah, he's got to say that. He's the current
right. He has to say that. But,
yeah, and said here that they asked him too. They said, well, the fact that you're being pushed and positioned as the next John Cena, quote, it says that majority of the fans aren't taking that fact away like the WWE had hoped. And they said if they asked him if he was bothered by the fans rejecting him as the new face, and here's what else he said. He said, there's nothing to complain about as far as reaction because we're storytelling here. Not everybody is going to have the same opinion about the story. My only concern is you're setting a bad example. I've seen grown men flip me off, and there's children right there. There's a guy who got kicked out of one of these shows, I'm pretty sure because he was drunk. He was going nuts, screaming and cussing, acting like a fool when there's children right next to him. That's something we have to keep in mind. A lot of times these pay-per-views and Monday Night Raws, they're on school nights, so it is a lot more of a grown-up feel. I think if you pick and choose and think with logic, everything will be all right. That's just one thing you have to be concerned with is the example we're setting. At a show, I'm not the only role model. These kids are sitting next to these other grown-ups, and they're seeing how these people act. It's just a reflection of what they see, and they probably act the same way. Now, that's stupid because you think of him saying that, dude, but he said that the parents are there, but the kids aren't wanting to spend money on their parents' clothes. They were spending on these wrestlers and stuff. So for him to say that is ridiculous to me in saying that because these kids are buying these wrestlers head shirts and belts and everything else that these wrestlers are WWE is putting out there, and he's saying that. I mean, he just seems like he's just not getting it. But I think even to him, dude, if you want to be honest with you, I think he sounds just as ridiculous, and I think it sounds ridiculous coming out of his mouth. And I think he feels that same way. But again, he's having to be John Cena 2.0, so he's having to cover the company's bases. But I think that's a stupid question for him, or a stupid answer for him to give when he's talking about that. You know he don't like that. You know it bothers him. Cena's had years of it, 10 years of it, so Cena's used to it. Roman ain't, like you said in the previous show, Roman ain't used to getting all that here, except within the last year or two, because they've only been, Shield's been in what, in WWE, 3-4 years now when they started?
Yes, something like that.
Yeah, but that's all I had to say about Reigns. I just think he's foolish for speaking this stuff and doing that. I really, really think that he is.
He's just saying what he's programmed to, what WWE programmed him to say, WWE corporate. But ladies and gentlemen, before I forget, the coach made his return on Raw last night out there shaking his bootios with the New Day, out there plugging ESPN, and that's all well and good. Stating that ESPN is going to be giving live coverage of WrestleMania this weekend, leading up to the actual event and stuff like that. So they're going to have talking about WrestleMania on ESPN. So that was all well and good, and everybody said he looked great. He hasn't lost a beat or whatever, and I think he kind of he looked good, but he looked like he kind of like a deer in the headlights, but that's understandable because he ain't been there a long time. But but I didn't see nothing wrong with it. I don't think he was so great looking like everybody says on the YouTube comments, but like I said, he ain't been there a long time, so he did the best he could. He looked a little lost, but other than that, he did a good plug for ESPN and shaking his butt with bootios and stuff like that. So good to see the coach back, and that's smart, man. I like how they got somebody working in ESPN that used to work for WWE, and now they can use him to plug the event. That's cool. It's not, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. It's who you know. So they know the coach, and coach like, yeah, man, we'll talk about him on ESPN for that phony sport. Like when Lawrence Taylor fought Bam Bam in the main event of WrestleMania 11, WWE was trying to get some street cred. The only cred they got was, hey, Lawrence Taylor, what'd you go in that phony sport for? Why'd you participate in that phony sport? That's the only reaction they got out of it. Oh, Lawrence Taylor did good in that phony sport. Oh, whoop-de-doo. He defeated their greatest superstar, Bam Bam Bigelow. Said they shouldn't have put that as the main event because people that don't watch the product be like, oh, Bam Bam must be the greatest superstar they have, and Taylor beat him like he was nothing. So okay.
I thought they were pushing it, man, and they talk about WCW.
I remember that like it was yesterday, man. It was all over.
Thing, man. Let me ask you a question. That's the funny thing with WCW and WWE. WWE always has that habit of putting down the celebrities with stuff that WCW had, but WWE did the very same thing. Did a lot of very silly stuff too. What was it? Didn't Vince win a title too?
Oh yeah, he won the Royal Rumble match back in.
Did he win a title? A heavyweight title or some title? I remember the one where he was talking, seen him with a title, and I'm like, he ain't done really no different than what WCW and WCW is criticized for. But WWE has done the same thing with their celebrities and stuff. Like with Snoop Dogg and all these other ones that have been on there over recent years.
WrestleMania 1 was built on attractions. That's why they have Mr. T.
And I'm like, it's the same thing they're doing. So I never really understood. Did he get criticized for the celebrities and stuff? But then
they criticized WCW for putting the title on that actor. Shit, what's his name? You know what I'm talking about. Played in the Scream movies. David Arquette. Yeah.
That's
what they criticized him for. That's about it. But but they're not going to talk. They're not going to say anything that makes WWE look bad, of course.
And I get that, dude, but at that point, WCW, they were in the midst of
David Arquette, the new WCW champion.
They were promoting that movie, much like what WWE would do to promote a movie. And, it wasn't very long.
Well, WWE was so protective over the title back then. That's why they screwed Brett. So I can see why they criticized WCW for putting the title on a celebrity, because WWE used to be very protective of the title. They're not as protective anymore. It's all about who's the face of the company, and titles don't matter. It's just a attraction, a push, or whatever the case. And Nitro had Kiss perform on Nitro. That's cool. I like Kiss. And it just made everybody flip it to Raw, because back then I was like, man, people don't know who Kiss is. It's for young people, the show and whatnot. But it's all good. I remember WCW Nitro was saying, hey, we're the number one. We're the leader in sports entertainment. They started using that phrase, sports entertainment, right, towards around the end. But I didn't have nothing against that. It felt more like WWE when they said that. We're the number one in sports entertainment. But that's good, though. Hey, we're better than you. We could do better. But I wish WCW was still around. I remember when I first watched TNA back when it was on pay-per-view every week or whatever, and I'm like, oh, this is what happened in WCW without the logo, which I've talked about this, but that's what it looked like to me, because you had Jeff Jarrett in there. It was the NWA world title, and I was like, this is WCW without the copyrights. Okay, that's what happened. They just needed a good network there in the beginning. I hate that TNA lost Spike. It just ain't been the same since they lost Spike TV,
Right.
Because that was the channel that they used to have Raw.
Sure TNN. And then there used to be the old network that had ECW when it was the TNN. So that channel's had all three. It's had both network wrestlings then. TNA, it's had TNA, it's had WWE, and it's had ECW. So they've had everybody but WCW. Figured they'd squeeze somewhere with them.
And the crowd was yelling, China, China, at Triple H last night because Snoop Dogg is in the Hall of Fame. But they won't put China in. They can't put China in the Hall of Fame because Triple H is scared his daughters might Google China and see that she was in porn. But if you Google Snoop Dogg, you say, oh, he's very fond of a green herbal companion there, So let's not be hypocrites now. And Snoop Dogg's in the Hall of Fame, man. And, that's Sasha Banks' uncle. And what if he came to the ring with Sasha Banks this weekend? Talking like JR. Yeah, he's Sasha Banks' uncle. He come to the ring with her and be nice, The last time I seen Snoop Dogg on Raw in the ring, man, he looked flat like an ironing board. He was just so flat, his body. Mm-hmm. Like he got ran over by a bulldozer or something. He was just so flat, dude. Like he's a tall man, but he's just like he ain't got no body there. It's like a skeleton in clothes or something. It's always because I never seen Snoop Dogg's body like that. I always see him in music videos and whatnot. But when you see him on Raw in the actual ring, you're like, man, he's a flat person. You know? It's like he's gonna hang himself with all them gold chains he's wearing. Turn the other way, he hang himself. But Snoop Dogg was the shit though back in the early '90s. But now he's just like a pop star type. He was singing with pop stars, and he's just a candy guy. He's
a TV personality.
Yeah. He's just he's a candy person now. But back in the day, he was a fucking gangster rapper with the Chronic and Dr. Dre. That was the shit. And Snoop Dogg's first album, Snoop Doggy Dogg, the bomb. Snoop Dogg. That was the shit. Death Row Records. Yeah, Doggy Style. That's right. Death Row Records, Snoop Dogg, the Dre. That was awesome. You can't. I love them rap albums, the Chronic and Snoop Dogg. But I remember I bought a Snoop Dogg album back in 1999, and it was just so flat, dude. It's just that's when I knew Snoop Dogg lost it, and he's still around doing TV stuff, like you say, and things like that. And it's just, he gone flat, man. I like all his albums suck anyway, except for that first album, Doggy Style.
He just went.
The nigga said, "Well, he not good without Dr. Dre. He not good without Dr. Dre." And I believe that too. He's a good tag team guy, just not good solo. But
no,
they hit him up. I mean, they did some good stuff. Ain't nothing but a gangsta party. Yeah. That was some good stuff, man. Early 90s, Death Row, Snoop Dogg. So I like Snoop Dogg for that, but that's about it. And Sasha Banks, I mean, he's got some good offspring there. So, yeah, throw him in there because all you got to do is have like a 2 or 3 year run in WWE to get in the Hall of Fame anyway. It's not legit, so Snoop Dogg's a legit fan, so hell, just throw him in there. They put anybody in there,
Mm-hmm.
I ain't got a problem with it. For the celebrity part, I ain't got a problem with it.
Yeah, well, I don't think so either, man. Because I mean, you've got some in there that he participated. He's been in there a few times with him, so I can't really say too much about that. Though.
He's done more than I was about to say. He's done. I was about to say he's done more than Donald Trump, but that's not true because Donald Trump hosted WrestleMania 4 and 5 in the Trump Plaza, and he was at WrestleMania 23. So Trump's a legit WWE fan.
That was a Trump McMahon match, weren't it?
Yeah, but see, back in the day, WrestleMania 4 and 5 was broadcast from Trump Plaza. He had all these arenas and stuff over there, and he was sitting front row. He paid WWF to have WrestleMania 4 and 5 at his place, Trump Plaza. So that's when I first saw Donald Trump back in the 80s. I watched WrestleMania 4 and 5. It was Trump's Mania because I always give him credit. And it's like, he's the one that wanted them to host from there or whatever. So he's a big fan of it,
That's good. I'm glad that he was.
I'll give him that much. Yeah.
But we got a couple throwaway matches here. Really weren't that big. You would briefly touch on them. Kofi Kingston, but a New Day versus Alberto Del Rio of the League of Urination. Of course, like you said, Coach went out there for that, and then they mentioned, like we were talking about, the John London getting the Warrior Award. Then we get see like I said, Bully Ray showing up his problems. Kalisto versus Connor of the Ascension. Just throwaway match. Yeah, I mean, that's what this would be the they ain't had a lot of them, but this would be the P-break moment. I would think the first one would be with Kalisto and Connor because everybody knows how this is going to go. Kalisto, of course, is going to win. The Ascension can't even win, and even against a small guy like him, they're just a bore. What are your thoughts on the Dean Ambrose and Brock Lesnar?
That was cool. Dean Ambrose came to the ring with a wagon of toys, like Barbie and Chainsaw Charlie and some little toys in there, weapons for Brock Lesnar. And Brock and Paul Heyman were already in the ring, cutting a promo, and interrupted by Dean Ambrose. And Paul Heyman was just
like nothing, man. I mean, that was weird. You
It's
know,
gonna be
I
a
mean,
decent match. I don't think Brock ain't putting Dean Ambrose over. Because they're
no,
they're only it's not Dean Ambrose's fault because you don't always have to win to get to be the winner.
yeah, he's got to win something. He already let Triple H beat him. I mean, God,
yeah, that's true.
How many times can you
Brock's
be put
only
over?
going to lose. Brock broke the streak, and he's only going to lose when it makes sense. They might do it, but I'll be surprised.
It would be a rub, is what this would be. It'd have to be a rub, man. And some were talking about possibly the Wyatt's or Bray Wyatt possibly interfering in this. Which we'll get into it, but this is just news on this relating to this. That Wyatt has to do with it.
They put Dean Ambrose in there with the most legit superstar. I mean, if he can hang 20 minutes with Brock Lesnar and don't win, they can say, well, he's a winner. He went the distance.
Yeah, but they said that about Triple H. I mean, if he keeps getting beat, he's got to win something. I mean, I understand that logic, but he sat there and he's lost to Triple H. He's lost
too much already.
People he could beat, he's lost to. And Roman, and he ain't the biggest specimen, but Dean has had that in him that he can win. They just don't let him win. Seth Rollins is the case. Bray Wyatt's the case.
I just don't see them hyping up Brock the past few years and having break the streak.
Well, they've not.
That's the thing, though. See, they don't want to give him the ball and let him beat Brock Lesnar because they're going to drop the ball with him again. That's why I don't want That's why I want Brock to let Dean Ambrose go over on him because they're going to drop the ball with Dean Ambrose
over on him because I feel like Ambrose deserves it. I do.
He does. Yeah, sure. Yeah, but I don't.
The company is against him, but the fans are for him, like Daniel Bryan. And that's like they said with AJ Styles. That's only going to be the way he's ever going to get a chance is if the fans get behind him and want to see him get it. WWE is not going to do that. It's like they get very – WWE lives in their own twilight zone than what the fans are actually in. They're not in the same universe. And to me, for them not to allow – because Brock is like this. Brock is reckless. I feel while Brock is dominant, Brock is just a reckless wrestler. I don't like Brock Lesnar. I don't like the fact because to me he's reckless. He don't put over anything. He acts like he's got to be the badass and everything. Even when Hogan would put over people, I'd rather for Hogan to be fighting against him than back in his prime than Brock Lesnar because Brock wants to be a badass, wants to be the one dominating everything, which granted he's a big man, but he ain't dominant as WWE has pushed him to be. He can be beat, he can be brought down, they're just not allowing him to. So then he has to end up like The Undertaker where he's losing the streak, he's lost the streak, but he's still going on. He's 50, but he's still going to go on. Lesnar is this muscled up guy, but he's still going to go on. I just don't like that, man. I don't like that at all, and I just wish that they would kind of let Ambrose. I mean, even if Ambrose was to get help from Wyatt, I would still rather see Ambrose beat Lesnar than lose clean to him. That's just me. I want to see Ambrose get a win.
I just don't. I don't see that. I mean, they build up Brock. Brock's only going to put over somebody when he's going out the door. If Brock Lesnar, he's only going to put over somebody when he's leaving, when he's going out the door. I just think it's too soon. He broke the streak a couple of years ago. He's only going to lose when it makes sense. But I like Dean Ambrose too. But I'm just talking WWE logic.
Yeah, I understand that.
I don't see it.
I just don't see who else they got left for him to be able to rub the push. If he's not going to do Reigns and he's not going to do Rollins, who have you got left? I mean, what you going to do? Let him just be a badass on the way out? I just think that's foolish. I don't like Lesnar for that particular reason, the way they do it. I just don't like the way they do it.
It's just the way they booked them.
Yeah, and it's bad.
I get what you're saying, but I just feel like if they give Dean Ambrose the win, they're going to drop the ball with him because if Dean Ambrose wins, they're going to have to book him as an invincible opponent.
Not necessarily.
He beat the one that beat the one in 21 and 1, whatever it was. But
necessarily, you've got to give the man a credible win. Triple H had his wins.
Yeah, but they could do that. They could, have him almost win and then let him
Triple H. I don't want them to see to do that spot in a row. That'd be damn ridiculous to do that. Had to do that twice in a row. Had him almost win. He had Triple H beat, and he slid in the ring and got the pedigree on him. After that, I was like, that's a fucking stupid way to end the match. That's a dumb way for him to beat him. And now you have Brock do the same thing. I'm just saying you don't have to make him invincible if he beats Brock. People beat sometimes.
Well, that's where WWE puts themselves in the corner. You know, they've had him, you know, lose a couple of pay-per-views in a row, and he's going to have to lose again. But that's just the way they got themselves in the corner with it. I just think it's too soon for him to beat the one that beat the one for the streak. And that's just my opinion about it. I just think it's too soon for him. I don't think he's a mega superstar yet. But you're right that if he keeps if he keeps losing, it's going to hurt his credibility like they did with Bray Wyatt. But
they won't when they're not pushing him. He won't be a superstar.
They fucked up with him. Yeah, they fucked up with him. Now they're in a tight spot where he needs to win, but he's not going to win this match.
And then Reigns,
he might. I mean, you never know, but that's just the way I see it.
And then Reigns comes in, and he's not doing shit, and nobody likes him. He gets pushed, and nobody really cares. So that's why I said they're so in much of a.
That's why I'm glad Reigns didn't beat Brock Lesnar last year, because it'd just be a joke if he beat Brock Lesnar last year. At this point.
Yeah, but what point do you give it to somebody to beat Brock?
I don't know. I mean, maybe a year from now, it makes sense to give it.
You see how long that was lasting? A year.
I said maybe a year from now, maybe it makes sense for Brock to give it to somebody else around that time frame.
He'd have to start.
He's still got a couple of years left on his contract. He's not going to give up a loss right now. It's just it doesn't make sense right now because what they're going to do with Brock if he loses is have a couple of rematches.
His whole contract really, his rest of his years really ain't worth him being there. I mean, The Rock and Stone Cold lost all the time, but fans still pulled for him.
Yeah, it's just the way they booked him, man. They booked him as a invincible opponent, and he's not going to lose unless it's important. From the writer's point of view,
Well, I just think it's stupid. But I mean, I understand what you're saying, and I understand where you're coming from. I just think it's on their part. It's just ridiculous what they're thinking of doing that, though. But that's just here and there. But yeah, he brought some stuff out to the ring. Yeah, he didn't really acknowledge him. He just pushed stuff out there, and then he turned around and left. But it was stupid.
I know you're a fan of Dean Ambrose, but I just don't see him as a mega superstar yet. To have him go that far.
None of them are.
I say just
on that level.
Let him go to distance with Brock, and he'll almost beat him, but not beat him, and then put him on a winning streak the next few months. Fix them losses he had.
Everybody else.
You can have. Let me talk here. If he can have a rematch with Triple H, Triple H loses the title to Roman Reigns at Mania. And then Triple H can have a quick little feud with Dean Ambrose. And he could put Dean Ambrose over in those matches, non-title matches, because it won't be a title, like he did with Batista 10 years ago. Put him over that way, Let him lose one more time and then fix the booking with him before he becomes a Bray Wyatt. So, because Bray Wyatt, he don't even have a match at Mania.
He's hurt, man.
It was sore back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hate that. I was looking forward to seeing him.
I heard he was going to make the Battle Royal match. But either way, it's not a serious injury from what I know. But, yeah, because he lost so many pay-per-views, it just hurts his credentials. He's like a Goosebumps character. Not that scary,
Yeah.
It's all about you, Bill. It's all about you. It's all about fucking fanboy. It's all about you, Bill. It's all about you.
I know, man. It's just
no. Anyone but you. Anybody.
I just don't like the way they've done it, man. I mean, it's not just Ambrose.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I like Owens too, and I don't see the problem with Owens being booked the way he is because I feel like he's where he's at because everybody can't be at the top. It's just this
right. They did okay with Kevin Owens. It's like when everybody thought they were degrading his push, they gave him the IC title.
I think he's doing decent with that. But anyway, up next,
kind of title, yeah.
Up next was the Divas match, another P break if you want to go and do that at that point. Paige versus Emma, and this is with all these new factions. I'm just now getting used to it because you had Team Bad, and then you had Team Bad, Team Bella, and then you had
Team Bland and Blonde.
Now you got what's the two teams? Total Divas.
Bland and Blonde versus Team Bella.
Team what now?
Team Bella versus Team Bland and Blonde.
Bland and Blonde. Yeah, now because it's Bland. But and because you got what Emma and Summer Rae now on Naomi and them Tamina's side. That's horrible.
I don't know, man. I'm just last minute put together stuff, but Emma's looking hot, man. Her heel roll, her bad girl. I like that on her. She's smoking hot, dude.
Yeah, man.
Emma.
She can't steal no more, so she has to, get seriousness with wrestling.
That's right, man. You can tell she's gotten better in the ring. I like that.
She's hot. I've seen some of her Instagram pictures. Like somebody will retweet, and she is hot. Emma's a hot woman. She's very small, but she's a hot. She's not bad looking at all. She never has been. But she looks really good now. But then, because now, like I said, now you got this whole thing with Lana coming in, and they showed last night that all of them were fighting, and Lana was to the side, and finally, Emma ends up beating Paige, and then after the match, all of them are out there fighting and whatnot. And Eva Marie comes out there to a chorus of what? Boos. They all boo her, and she's going for Lana. So now it says they call them Team Total Diva stands tall, as none of the other members.
I like how the fans are always saying, we want Lana, clap, clap, clap. We want Lana, clap, clap, clap. And then when she gets there, no reaction. It's just trendy to do.
Yeah.
Like, you want Lana so bad, here she is, and no reaction. Yeah. But she's not. It's reverse psychology. But when she's not there, we want Lana, clap, clap, clap. So that's why you need to play hard to get with women, But play hard to get because they want you so bad until they see you.
Exactly. That's bad, man. It's like when they chant ECW, and then when ECW came, then it was really nothing. But then they're going away again. They chant ECW again. That's just the way they are. Or CM Punk, CM Punk the same way. Which I know another CM Punk chant broke out later on in the next match, which was a 6-man match, which you figured that was going to happen. But why would you do that? Because you got Stardust, which nobody cares about. The Miz and KO, Kevin Owens, my guy. The Miz and KO are good with Mike, man. They are really good with Mike. And they were against Sami Zayn, Sin Cara, and Ziggler, which Ziggler's really the only one out of the bunch from that bunch that actually is good with them. But it was a decent match. Kevin Owens, his same as funny as always. Kevin Owens, he tries to avoid everything. You don't try to get no party in it. He'll be your partner, but until you need the partner, then he backs away from it. But it was just funny how that stuff happened. But it was a decent match. I mean, did you like the match? Were you able to keep your focus on it, or was it just something?
That was my piss back.
Okay. Well,
I didn't really care about that. I never pissed during the Divas match. I'm just a dog. I just love looking at them. Better than looking at men in fucking underwear. But nah, man, I didn't pay that no attention.
Well, then the show basically, like you mentioned, it wind down.
Is that when Roman Reigns leaped on everybody? Might have been, but
that's at the end. That was at the very end when he comes out. I was going to say is that
the man said, "You still suck."
Yes, he was hitting. He walks down to the ring and he's more with a limp, and then them two's fighting and stuff, and she calls all the the heels to come down, and then all of a sudden the good guys come down, and then they're separated, and then on the outside, then Triple H and they're holding Triple H back, and Roman Reigns leaps off the top rope from the ring and knocks all of them down, and then he goes away, and that's basically it. So
on a side note, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you guys checking us out. We do this every week, but we're like grass. It's a top-up philosophy. So just throw a little bit of water on us, a metaphor for hit that subscribe button, like button if you don't mind. I mean, if you like it, that's great. Like it. If not, like it anyway. 100 subscribers. But, yeah, we appreciate you guys tuning in. Help us grow. We do this every week. We enjoy it. Bill's a very passionate wrestling fan, as am I.
Well,
we do this stuff all the time. And so we really appreciate it.
Raw rating went up this week. Thumbs up.
Let's go into the Raw rating. Then we're going to close out, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned. You hit that subscribe button. You never miss an episode. We just did an episode on a tribute to top wrestlers that passed away so far. And go show that video some love, because it was a good video. We tributed all the dead wrestlers so far, like I said, and did our respect, talk about the history, because we actually grew up and seen most of these guys. And a very good tribute video. Go there and check it out if you guys would. And
we've got
hit that subscribe button so you can check the prediction show and the massive post show we're going to do, and you can watch it and stick with us if you just hit that damn subscribe button.
That's
much
right.
appreciated.
We've got to hit it. We've got a variety of wrestling, not only topics of covering of Raw, but just different varieties of them in there. So you've got to check our channels out. Click on like on our channels, subscribe to our channels, and check out our old videos we've got. We've got a lot of different variety over the years, and different.
Yeah, if you're just we do everything, ladies and gentlemen. Like the audibletrial.com. We don't just do wrestling books. We do all kinds of books.
But it's good.
You can check out Bill Mack's channel for gaming videos, real life advice, real talk, all kinds of stuff. You go to my channel, you see some quote comedy, some philosophy, some bad karaoke, all kinds of stuff. So we don't just do wrestling, but we love and we do wrestling 100% when we do it.
Exactly.
Passionate about it.
We've discussed different wrestling.
I'm just saying we got a little bit of everything for everybody.
Yeah, we've done different wrestling topics on there, like the celebrity, remember the deaths of our wrestlers. We've many discussions about wrestling. So if you like wrestling, into wrestling, check out both channels. Subscribe to both channels. Like, share with other people. Just a quick note: Raw's rating went up surprisingly, which is a great thing and it's going home Monday night Raw. It went up. This week's show got 3.77 million viewers, up from last week's 3.39 million. So we see a pickup of at least 380,000 more viewers.
People know.
Raw, so
people know the go home. This is the go home Raw, and people know about that, so they're going to check it out. Just like next week's Raw is going to be massive. The night after WrestleMania Raw, that's going to be huge. It's probably going to be better than the pay-per-view.
It should be, because you're going to have newer, some people that didn't preview, because you're going to have some surprise people come in during WrestleMania, but you're also going to have that Raw after that's going to have some surprises too. Only problem with the rating is hour 3 dropped 210,000 viewers. Hour 3 was 3.85. Hour 2 was 3.85. Hour 3, 3.64. So it dropped 210,000 viewers. So let's just
they should have saved that Taker Shane brawl for the third hour, but I guess Undertaker's like, come on, man, I got to get back in my casket, man. And Shane's like, well, I got to get a plane back to China right quick. So they probably went ahead and got that out of the way so they can clock out. Taker's like, come on, man, I got to get back in my casket, man. I ain't staying out here at 11 o'clock.
But our subscribers mean everything to us. Keep subscribing. Tweet us out if you want to. And just know that we appreciate everyone and like the video.
That's right, because you'll learn a lot on our channel, especially the dead wrestler tribute. Because we give the statistics, the facts about the wrestler, where he was from, what his body of work, So if you're a new fan of WWE, you'll learn a lot, or WCW, you'll learn a lot from that tribute video. And we also did Monday Night War perspectives. That's on there, and check out Bill's WCW perspective and my WWE perspective, and which those videos done really well. They're in the hundreds of views, so go check them out.
And plus, the new content coming from us, man. Hopefully, a top 10 heel, top 10 face.
There you go.
Stuff we can do for the fans. So we cater to the fans, wrestling fans. We just want you to come out and subscribe to us. More new content will be with TeamB Wrestling. So just look forward to that TeamB Wrestling Show. So.
Yeah, I did a video a couple of months ago, my favorite WrestleMania moments. And, that one, it didn't get too many views. So if you guys would go there and check that out. I was just sharing my memories from WrestleManias I saw, and the one I went to, and it was pretty cool. The Iron Man match with HBK and Bret Hart, WrestleMania 12, and I talked about WrestleMania 11 with Jenny McCarthy and Pamela Anderson's tits, HBK versus Diesel. That was nice. Bam Bam Bigelow, Lawrence Taylor, all that good stuff. And the bad WrestleManias, if you want to include that. And I talked about the high points, like Hogan versus The Rock, man. all them good WrestleMania moments. And
Right.
that's about it, ladies and gentlemen. Got anything else you need to add, Bill?
No, sir, you have covered it all. Just like and subscribe both channels. Support TeamB
Y'all take
Wrestling.
care. Okay, take care.